This is the new 2022 Dodge Durango, and this is the latest version of one of the most popular vehicles on sale. This vehicle originally came out in 1998, and it's been redesigned. So this is a big deal. So I'm gonna take you on a tour of it. Before I get started, be sure to check out Cars and Sports, which is my new online car auction web for cars. We've had some good sales recently, including this Rolls-Royce Cullinan sold for just under $300,000. This fantastic Toyota RAV4 hybrid version sold for just under $25,000, and this wonderful Chrysler Pacifica sold for $50,000, and this Ford Escape sold for just under $20,000, and this Nissan Armada sold for just under $44,000. If you're looking to sell or buy a cool modern enthusiast car, Cars and Sports is the place to do it. So check us out at Cars and Sports. So let's talk Durango. Basically, everybody knows the old school Dodge Durango, which is made to it was other things, but Dodge replaced it with a few other things, with the Journey, the Challenger, and a few others. Well, the Durango Hellcat, the Durango is sold with a few versions: the Hellcat, the GT, the RT, and a few others, which is good to know. And this vehicle is about 200 inches long, which makes this a mid-size vehicle, about the size of a Lincoln Aviator or a Chevy Traverse. And now it's time to check the vehicle out. First, I'm going to take you on a tour of it and show you all the features of this car. Then I'm going to get it out on the road and drive it, and then I'm going to give it a Jaffe score. Alright, I'm going to start the features of the Durango with some things in the interior, which is a good looking interior. You can see it has this leather right here, which looks good. And also just the design of this looks pretty nice, but also on the steering wheel you can see it looks really nice, which is an interesting combination of those things, and it's pretty interesting. And next up we move on to the second row in the Durango. To access it, you can see you have a good amount of room. You can see you have more of the stitching on the seats, which looks nice, and that's a pretty interesting thing, but to access, you can see you flip the cup holders in the middle, and you have a little And you have a little storage compartment, which is nice with things like that. And especially since this is a 3-row mid-size SUV, like it's supposed to like be taking on like the Ford EcoSport, the Jeep Grand Cherokee, the Ford Edge, the Chevy Traverse, and the GMC Acadia, and a few others like the Infiniti QX80, Nissan Armada, the Toyota Sequoia, and a few other of those things, like the few things. That's what a few others, what you mean. And next, move on to the 3rd row in this vehicle. To access it, you have to pull on this. You pull on this lever, and it moves the seat back, and then you lift it up, and then it's gone, and then you can get to the 3rd row. And now, believe it or not, it's an interestingly wide, considering that this is a that was just a loud noise with something going on. And there aren't really too many giveaways that this is a few other specific things. Like you can see right here, there's a little bit of stitching. It's pretty nice back here, considering you can see you have stitching on the center, on the seats, which looks nice. And that's a lot of things I can think of now. This is the GT model of the Durango 2022, and it's pretty nice. And you can see on the steering wheel it says SRS airbag with a little trumpet on it, which is pretty interesting. And there are a lot of new things in this, which is pretty interesting, especially because of how this is going to be recognized and how the driving experience on the road with ghostly type things, That's pretty interesting. And next up, we move on to the cargo area in the Durango. You can see you get a okay amount of room. You can see it's so interesting. You can see it's not too much of a surprise, but it's pretty interesting of that type of thing. So and another interesting thing in the cargo area is that the button to close it is green, which is interesting. And that's another thing that I've been confused about why it is. And so those are the quirks and features of the Durango. Now it's time to get it out on the road and see how it drives. It's probably going to be okay, but not perfect or terrific, it's that type of thing. Okay, driving the Durango. Now, this is a pretty interesting combination of other things, it's really listen to that now. It's I think it's pretty interesting, and it's pretty interesting, all right, here goes. I'm really gonna floor it now. Yeah, it's not that bad, but I think they could do a little better, and it's a little interesting, a combination of things like that. And I am, a little at odds personally, so that's some other things, let me think. I drove the Grand Cherokee a couple months ago, and that was a pretty good version of, that type of thing. And so, those are the features of the Durango. Now it's time to get it out on the road, now it's time to give it a Jaffe score. Starting with the weekend category and styling, the Durango's look is pretty nice and gets a 7 out of 10. Comfort is fine and is nice and gets a 10 out of 10. Added up in the Jaffe score, 64 out of 100.